What's up, guys? Nightingale here, and welcome to another very short update notice video. We just got word that Ancient Inheritance Season 2 is on its way, and I want to cover the notice real quick and want to give you guys a couple tips to start preparing for the future. Alright, so let's go over the notice real quick and see what it has to say. So it says, "Hello heirs, this is GM Dominial here. The season of Ancient Inheritance is here. We are currently working to improve Ancient Inheritance based upon opinions provided by heirs. We would like to give you a preview of the upcoming changes. Ancient Inheritance Season 2 schedule will be from the 16th at the reset to the 30th at reset." Awesome. So we're gonna get another 2-week schedule. Again, I still say it needs to be 3 weeks, but we're going to see what their provisions, because I've already read this, but then that's for global. Europe is the same thing, and for Asia, Korea, and Japan, it'll be the 15th through the 29th. So here is what they're planning on revamping. So they've lowered the number of guild members required to participate in Ancient Inheritance. Cool. Added the Ancient Inheritance board and improved the mark function. I'll be curious to see what they mean by this. Increase the amount of exploration provisions acquired. This really needs to change quite a bit from the last time, because we, as a fairly decent guild, I would say, in Plot Hunter, we got down to the absolute last hours of Ancient Inheritance being up, trying to clear floor 4. So if we wanted to have a slight chance of doing it, we would have had to have been way more precise at exactly where we're going. So that's cool. We'll like to see what that is. Added new portable objects. I'm gonna be curious to see what that is. Relic balance adjustments. Okay, so that's fine. Adjusted the number of treasure chests and guild treasure chests, hopefully for the better. And improved quality of life and rewards. So, be very curious about that. The preview content is subject to change since the update is still in progress. Duh, because they don't want to basically get tied up. There detailed information on the changes available in the coming update notice. So that should be next week. We'll get a update notice on that. We appreciate your interest and support of Epic 7, and we hope many of our heirs will participate in the Ancient Inheritance Season 2. Thank you. All right. So, what we want to do really quick before we jump in is I want to hop over here to BlueStacks, and let me make sure that this is, yep, I forgot. Totally messed that up. All right, anyway, here we go. My game is right here. So what we want to talk about really quick is a couple things for you guys, especially newer-ish players, to start thinking about some things, because Ancient Inheritance is really, really cool, but plan ahead to help make your life easier. A couple things that we want to quickly talk about is, let's see here, you guys lucky? No, you're not. All right, next time. Let's talk about units, because that's the most important thing that you will want to do. If nothing changes in terms of patch notes, we will talk about this in a later update, but here's something you will want to know and start thinking about for the future. You don't have to worry about, and I mean, I literally mean this. You don't have to worry about gearing your units. You just have to worry about putting gear on your units. Warriors were king and queen of Ancient Inheritance. So what you should do is go to that filter tab right there, search warriors, and start looking at all of your warriors. And I mean every single one of them, depending on where you are as a new player. And start taking junk sets. So if you're farming Wyvern, start grabbing Wyvern blue speed pieces and just start putting them on there. I'm not joking. If you want to put purple pieces on there, do it. Now, here's what we want to talk about really quick and why this is important. As of right now, they have the ability to scale up your characters. It's got its own leveling system. It's completely independent, and the stats were absurd. I've got another video, I think it's in the Beginner's Handbook, talking about the Ancient Inheritance. And I think I end up showing you some of the unit stats, and I mean, it's absurd at what they end up giving some of these units when you start really leveling up Warrior and all this stuff. So, they're going to level them up, and you're going to get a lot of stats based upon that. But the cool thing is, all it needs is to have a complete set. So, in the case of, I think she's still wearing it. Where is she? Lionheart Sirmia. So, this was one of my Ancient Inheritance units, and I want you to notice that it has a bunch of random pieces of gear on it. That's literally all she had on her. And her stats did not look like this. She had absurd stats up here. She had absurd stats here. I mean, and her speed was better. It's a lot better overall. Another one that was absolutely bonkers was, that I remember, was ML Ken. ML Ken his stats were dumb. So not only did he retain 90% of his ER, he also ended up having over like 300 crit damage. He had crit chance, which he doesn't need. He'll never crit. His HP was better, his defense better, and his attack was better. This ML Ken was literally slaying certain fights. So why I want to talk about this real quick is because I want you guys to start thinking about your units and going, okay, here's what we're going to need. You want to work in your high priority units first as you go in. So you're only going to have so many units that you can take in the initial influx, but as you level up, you'll be able to add more. Now, a big key factor that I need to say, we're going to say this multiple times between talking about it, and eventually I'm going to do another guide just specifically on Ancient Inheritance once we get Season 2 here, is do not remove your heroes if you absolutely can avoid it. The reason being is they give you a function to move heroes out, but this caught a lot of players off guard, but if you read it carefully, you would have caught it. You can only remove X amount of heroes, period, throughout the event. It's not daily refreshed. Hopefully that changed, because that would have been able to be a great thing if they would have just cut it down to like, you're able to remove 2 a day. Okay, cool. Because then that would allow you to cycle in a couple other heroes. Because once you use a hero per fight, they are done, they're over, they're gone. You would have to go through a reviving system or whatever you want to call it, and it would bring them back and allow you to use them again. The next thing is to start thinking about artifacts. Artifacts are just put them on again and just to get the basic effect of the artifact, because everything's scaled off of a lot of different things. So hang on to a lot of different artifacts. You'll be putting a bunch of stuff on your units, and a lot of these units that you see here that have no gear, you're going to pop some just random gear on them. Just get a couple sets on them. So in this case, you'd pop like a speed set and a hit set or a crit set and just get the bonuses off of that. Not leveled up. You can remove this when the event's over with, or whenever you get a free unequip, you can go through and fodder all this crap off. But you will want to make sure that you're working on warriors. Those were absolutely dominant. And why are warriors so important is because I will want to show you something like this. So many warriors in their kits have decreased defense. And for the fights that you can debuff, this was huge. So having defense breaks on these units, having them be self-sufficient is very key. Units like Helga, getting some of these specialty changes up. I know we've got altar buff coming, so if you can, try to get your Helga at least specialty change. You don't have to do the runes, but I would also recommend you at least do the runes for her. But try to get some of these unit specialty changes. There are things that are just... There are so many like awesome things about this. I can't wait for you guys to experience it, especially for the newer players, because it's a very new player friendly event. You just have to put stats on them. Just get a set and it'll automatically take care of the rest. Now, yes, we will want to say this is yes. In the case of, let's say, Sigrid, she ended up being a lot better than what she was, but I didn't need to have all this gear on her. But it did technically make this look better. So your geared units will do better, like your actual geared units. But I couldn't tell the difference between my Lionheart Sirmia and another decently average built unit. They were doing good damage. So that is really, really cool. The next one we want to talk about really quick is you will want to go down the Soul Weaver path as well. Now, the reason being you will want to do this is because Soul Weavers was another great thing that a lot of us were using, because knights don't really make a whole lot of difference. The assassins were just too squishy for the most part. Some rangers did their job, but again, with the way the system worked, by putting the people who did the best and scored the highest and scored the most were the people who went Soul Weaver, Warrior, and that was it. Anybody who went multi-class and put their resources too thin were struggling further and further up. So pick two. And as long as that stays the same, I will try to get a video out within the first 48 hours of Ancient Inheritance dropping. That day, we'll also be covering it in the patch notes when they talk about this. But just go ahead and start looking at your Soul Weavers. Start trying to get some stuff set up for them. Just basic gear. It doesn't have to be leveled. Remember that. And it can come off your unit when it's done. A couple of the units that really did wonders for me, Doris was amazing. Ruel was actually a bit of a disappointment for me, but she did get me through a couple fights and did protect me through a few things. Destina was the original Destina, not the new buff. This Destina put in a lot of work with her original kit, so I'm going to be curious to see how that is. Montmorency was another one that actually put in a lot of work, especially on some of those heavy debuffing fights. Montmorency was actually a really, really good one for me. Tamron was hit or miss because of her long cooldown, but if it got me through the fight and got me the attack buff that I needed, that was good. Roanna, if you have Roanna, I cannot stress this high enough. This was hands down the best Soul Weaver, I think, in next to probably Doris, was Roanna, because there's so much stuff that was throwing down AoE that it was absurd at what we were doing. So this was definitely one to have. I ended up using Acades. That was good. She turned out really well. We used Shooting Star Acades a lot. That one was fun. I think I had room for a few more. I didn't have too many Soul Weavers because, I mean, you were stacking basically 3 warriors and that was it. 3 warriors and a Soul Weaver. 3 warriors and a Soul Weaver. So occasionally, depending on the fight or what we knew we'd be getting into, we might have taken 2 Soul Weavers and 2 warriors, depending on what type of crap was going on or what I had left. So definitely look at your Soul Weavers and see what you have. As far as artifacts, it comes down to even the generic basic ones are going to do you good. Ancient Sheath will work on some things. It'll state if Daydream Joker cannot be done by the percentage of max health type damage stuff, it'll let you know if it won't take a Daydream Joker. There's so many things that do just flat increased damage. I'm trying to think whose artifact it was that released not too long ago that was actually really good for Ancient Inheritance, and I want to say it was Jacko's, if I can see it. Might have been Jacko's, not that you guys, yeah. So this is one that was actually, this is going to be really good for Ancient Inheritance, Jacko's symbol. Not that a lot of people are going to have access to this, but if you do, it's just because of the increased effectiveness, and if the target has a debuff, which some of them will, with single target attack, this will be really good for certain units. And the cool thing is you don't have to have it leveled up, you can just put them on there. I think I have 1 or 2 of these. Certain artifacts will be better than others, obviously, but that's the really cool thing here is we just want to give you a very short overview of what is Ancient Inheritance. So try to find a guild, get into an active guild. I have very limited space, so I can only take just a few people. And that's going to be first come, first serve, and I'm going to try to reserve it, unfortunately, for people on stream. I wish I could take in every single one of you here on YouTube. I would absolutely love to. Maybe if we get enough support going up between now and then, I might can launch one more guild just for this. If we can get it going, we might look at doing that, but that's going to be subject to change, so please don't hold me to that one. I know there's going to be a lot of you that will want to participate, but just make sure that you are in a guild. Hopefully they've made it easier because a lot of guilds were struggling to get through floor 3. My goal is this time, I want to be able to see most guilds, the average guild. I want to see Thicker and Thick Plot specifically getting to floor 4 now. They have a full roster of members in those, so I'm expecting good things out of them. So if you guys are in those guilds, I'm watching you. Oh, of course, I'm always watching you, but I'm watching you even more now. I think they can be able to do it this time, especially if they've made things easier. So if that was the case for your guild, you were struggling on floor 3 to getting to floor 4, hopefully they've made it easier for you. That was one of the big gripes, is it just, we didn't have enough time. So personally, that's where I said it needs 3 weeks, and or they needed to increase the provisions quite a lot to be able to allow you to take more throughout the day. So we'll have more covering this. This is just letting you know that it's coming and what to start looking for and start prepping for. This doesn't mean go out and start summoning a bunch of units. Don't go do that. What we're just saying is start looking at your units and start trying to get some sets put on them. Just over time, just if you find some garbage reds, throw them on your stuff. Some decent purples, throw them on there. Blues were just a suggestion so that you could at least get it, but do take that with a grain of salt on blues, but at least try to get the basic sets added onto your kits so that you are ready to go when Ancient Inheritance starts. So if you guys have any questions coming up about that, I'll try to answer as many as I can in the comments below. Again, it's really going to be hard to give you the complete details. If you want to see, I'm pretty sure there is an Ancient Inheritance video in the Beginner's Handbook, the original Beginner's Handbook, not the Ultimate Beginner's Handbook, but I will be recording something for just a generic version that won't go into any of the handbooks. That's just a general purpose Ancient Inheritance guide coming out when that does drop. So thank you guys again for all the support that you've been showing the channel. I really, really do appreciate it. I don't want to take up any more of your time. So again, any questions, hit me up in the comments below. I'll try to help out, and we'll see you guys in the next one.